Hey everybody, in today's video, I'm going to show you how I usually do a world conquest in Hearts 4. Now, I've been working on this video for a couple weeks at this point, and it's taken me quite a long time to, get everything put together. I am leaving a little bit of open space just for me to do my intro, and also just a short explanation as to why it took me so long. Basically, this semester of college for me has been finishing up, so it's been a lot of work. But anyways, to start off, we just research some research speed, some stuff to up our efficiency, producing like guns and stuff, construction 1, and yeah. And then I build in the high infrastructure states, just civilian factories, since, really, economy isn't going to matter a whole lot whenever you're taking over the world this quickly. Or at least whenever you're taking over as much industry as we are going to be taking over. And then I do what I usually do, 10 military factories on guns, 5 on everything else, and then 15 on fighters, and then 10 on close air support, and max stockyards on everything else. Since we won't be dealing with naval production until that stuff finishes, and even then we'll just be making convoys, because we'll have stolen the navy of much more navally powerful nations like the British Empire and stuff. And army composition, I usually don't use Rommel until I'm ready to start using micromanagement tanks, or just like a full army of tanks. So I assign Manstein and basically just people other than Rommel that have high stats. And so I divide up my army. One army of 24 divisions, and then one of 6 divisions, and then I kind of just pick a field marshal at random. I don't necessarily think, because a lot of the top field marshals are pretty good as Germany, so it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot when you're playing against the AI. And also need to merge our navy, just so we don't forget. And yeah. I believe we can start. Well, actually, never mind. I just remembered. We gotta train up our divisions, or we won't really have an army. So, we're gonna train up 18 of the cav divisions just so we can click deploy them. Then, as soon as we get 50 political power, we're gonna justify on the Netherlands, which also, make sure not to take a focus in the beginning, just so you can save up that political power faster, and then once you actually get the ability to do national focus, you need to do the 4-year plan. And then we're going to train even more of the cav divisions, and basically we're going to quick deploy those small cav divisions until we get to 120 divisions in total. Then you want to hire the fascist demagogue, and also you're going to want to do autarky, then Hermann Göring work for the extra civilian factories, and then we're going to do KDF wagon and go down to the extra research slot. And once your war goal on the Netherlands is finished, declare war, and you should also be able to bypass Rhineland after this, as well, Rhineland will be militarized as soon as you declare war. And then you need to justify on Belgium as well, just so that the British will guarantee them, meaning that you get an early war with the Allies before they get really powerful. And then you just roll through the Netherlands, because you're Germany fighting against the Dutch that have like 10 divisions. And make sure to use your full air force, because your beginning air force is actually pretty good. Then, full annex Netherlands, and you can also take their navy, just to have a stronger navy whenever you fight the UK. And now we'll switch over to war economy. And now we're going to reorganize the army now that we actually have a full army group. And I'm going to switch over each army of 24 cav divisions to 18 infantry divisions, 3 motorized, and 3 light tank divisions specifically. And then I'm going to get my navy in position. And we are going to bypass Rhineland and do Angelus. Also, don't forget to change your garrison law to civilian oversight. It'll just save you some infantry equipment. And for my national focuses, and I'll just give like a general broad idea for the next few years of the game, where the focuses really count, I mainly just try and get as many puppets and everything with the German focus tree as you can, without doing stuff like Greece, where it's kind of guaranteed that they'll deny you. And then I switch over to extensive conscription before the war with Belgium. And now our war goal is finished, and so it is time to get our Air Force ready with air superiority and close air support. And it's time to declare war. And you should be able to pretty quickly roll over Belgium and France. You might have to pay a little bit of attention to the front line with Belgium and France. Also, you definitely want to get Hungary and Romania as puppets, so do those 2 focuses. And you can usually start the process of annexing Czechoslovakia without actually fighting a war. And I know this is a lot to take in. I would also let Italy in to the war and everything, just so the AI is a little bit more distracted fighting them than they are fighting you. And now, with the fall of France, we're just going to finish off these small pockets of Allied divisions in our territory, and then we will get ready to naval invade the British Island. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to select 4 divisions, have them be ordered to naval invade Dover, 3 divisions with 2 naval invasions to surround the port, and then we're going to get our navy ready to do naval invasion support. And it might take a little bit to get supremacy over the channel, just simply because it's the British channel, the English channel, and so the British have a lot of ships. But you should be able to use your Air Force and everything to slowly but surely get supremacy in the area. But in the meantime, while I wait to get naval supremacy, I'm going to take down a couple of minor nations, just so we don't have to deal with them later. And mainly the reason I'm doing this is because it makes it significantly easier to justify war goals if you're at war with a major as a fascist country. And I justified on Poland, declared war on them, and we also did get supremacy through laying mines and air superiority in the Channel. And while I'm destroying Britain, I also decided to justify a war goal on the US, since we will be invading them next, since they are very, very weak at the beginning of the game. Now, in the peace deal, just pretty much take everything that you can. one part that you definitely need is you need to take Canada, as this will give you a border with the US that will pretty much ensure that you get all of the war score and don't really have to call anybody else in. Now, Italy will probably also get a couple of states, and I would try to take all of the UK out, but in this case I wasn't able to because the AI was being stupid in the peace deal. So, yeah. And now I'm going to hire the Army Genius and the Armor Genius so that we can use them later. And we're going to go to war with the US. And this one, you don't even really have to pay attention to it. You can obviously use your Air Force to support them and everything. But at this point in the game, the AI has barely any divisions, so it won't really have much of a problem fighting them. And so I recommend doing what we did whenever you're at war with the Allies. Just justify war goals on small countries. You have to do it one at a time, or it'll be kind of inefficient. But justify war goals on small countries that you can take out while you fight the US, just by like quick deploying divisions, or if you have puppets at that point, maybe taking your puppets divisions. In my case, I just relied on Italy defending my border, which it was a little bit of a risk, but you know. But anyways, US is going to fall pretty quickly, and there's not really much to say at this point. Oh yeah, also, if you weren't able to finish off the UK or France or somebody else that was in the Allies before the war with the US, then you might want to justify on whatever's left of them again, just to make sure that they're finished off. And after I actually got the Sudetenland, which was kind of a coincidental point, capitulate the US, and the war with all of these countries is pretty much over. There'll still be like a time lapse going, just showing me finishing these countries off. But basically, I fully annex everything that I can, and Italy does end up being a little bit annoying. Not so much in this war, or peace deal with the US, but with the Balkans, since I guess they got a decent amount of war score defending my land from Lithuania and stuff. But anyways, I'll see you once this little war is over, and when we can get to the next step, which will be dealing with Japan. And now finally, I have defeated a lot of nations that I had just fight on while I was fighting the US. And now we're going to take our attention towards Asia. And I said Japan earlier, but this is actually going to be both Japan and China, just because I wanted to get them all in one kind of big old invasion. So it should be around 1940 that you're ready to do this, since you will have taken not only the British Navy, or French Navy too, but also the American Navy. So your Navy at this point is like just unstoppable against the AI, because the AI doesn't really make like crazy templates usually, especially by 1940. And also should have the ability to do some land doctrines, so I would recommend just going down the old Blitzkrieg thing, just because it's some pretty nice bonuses. And I don't tend to use armor a whole lot, but if you decide to use armor, the Blitzkrieg focus land doctrine, is pretty good. And also you probably want to research improve small airframe, engines 3, heavy MGs, and I believe it's aircraft construction, because we will be needing those later, just because the planes we're going to make with those are just they're pretty useful. And lastly, we're going to hire the Army Logistics Expert, since supply is going to be horrible where we're going to be fighting soon. And I'm going to make an agency, mainly to get intel for our Navy, and to build up collaborationist government against the Soviets. And I'm going to add some traits to my generals just to get it over with. And it just makes your generals so much better. And now, let's get our divisions ready to actually take down Japan. And Japan, they shouldn't be too hard to take down. But I usually like to take down China as well. And you can usually do that once you kind of get like a good foothold in Japan. Then you can declare war on the Chinese warlords and take in the whole area in with them. So we're going to do kind of a similar thing that we did with Britain, but first I'm going to use a garrison order just to get my divisions over there. Well, actually, I don't know that I used a garrison order this time, but usually I use a garrison order to get my divisions over to Asia, just because it's easier to click just a few buttons rather than having to reorganize the whole army. And then we'll do 4 divisions on the port at Nagasaki, then 3 divisions on the provinces surrounding it. And basically for any naval invasion that you do with the strategy, this kind of pattern of picking a port and then having 3 divisions invade each province surrounding it, usually just 2 naval invasions should work. Having that added on, using that kind of style of naval invasion should work pretty much always against the AI, unless you're like in 1945 or something and you're fighting, Britain still, but for this strategy that's not happening. And also, I would recommend doing reintegrate Luxembourg and Alsace-Lorraine, because the extra manpower is pretty nice. Oh, and also Prince of Terror as well for extra manpower. And I'm going to send an agent to build a spy network in the Soviet Union, and the next one will be used also in the Soviet Union. We're just going to try to build it 50%, and I'm going to have one spy do a quiet intel network there, and then have the other spies help where I need them. But anyways, we're going to justify war goal after getting our navy over to Asia. And by the way, you should probably unite your navy. I had to run 347 ships whenever I united my navy, and even though that still really wasn't enough to get supremacy against Japan, just simply because of intel issues. So after I get everything set up with the Soviet Union, the 50% spy network that will be held together by a quiet intel network, we'll have the extra spy or spies later on build up a network in Japan to just get rid of as much of that intel debuff as possible. And then after a little bit, your naval invasion should launch, and it shouldn't be too hard to take down Nagasaki. And once you take the port, I would recommend sending, I'd say, 3 armies of 24 divisions to the border that you have with the Chinese United Front, and trying to use those divisions to I don't remember if I said this, to attack China after you justified a war going against like Yunnan or something. And in the meantime, you can like spam build civilian factories at this point if you want to have like a huge factory count. But once you declare war on China, it should take a little bit for the AI to call in all of its allies or decide to join its allies' wars. But you should also be having a pretty easy time with Japan. I would recommend sending another army over to help. After you send in the original army, which is not just the 10 divisions that you use for the naval invasion, then we're going to build up our airports a little bit in Indochina, just so we can get some air support over southern China. And in my case, I decided that I would actually hold right outside of like Tokyo and everything instead of pushing through and capitulating them. This is because I actually wanted to capitulate China first, just so that I could take more in the peace deal with Japan. And so I wouldn't have to fight a powerful China after Japan falls. And also, what just showed on screen was the, what's showing on screen is my airplane divisions. And so if you want to go back, you can get the fighter template, and this is the close air template. This is pretty much going to be the template for the rest of the game, since no other country is going to be really powerful enough to kind of get another a template better than that. And as you probably just saw, I justified a war goal in Brazil. I'm not sure if it's the most optimal strat to go after South America while you're fighting in Asia, just simply because a lot of those countries will become major powers, and instead of them, I guess in the old updates, they didn't really become major powers except for like Peru, for whatever reason, but if they become major powers, they'll like start leading factions, and it'll just be a whole mess. And so I probably wouldn't recommend it, but in this case, I made that mistake. But I would recommend just doing like an attack until you kind of start getting mostly red in China, and then stopping the attack, waiting a little bit for your troops to recoup, and then just doing the same thing over again. And make sure to keep your Air Force, make sure to have your Air Force in the same areas that you're attacking in China, just simply because, especially southern China is very, very hard to push through because the terrain is awful, and air support just makes it way, 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 way easier. And at this point, I think that a lot of this war is pretty much decided. I will still give like a little bit of a summary though of what I'm gonna do. So we are going to make it our main goal to defeat China right now, and try to take as much as we can in the peace deal. And then we want to take over China again, because Japan should puppet them, which will still leave them as a great power for whatever reason, even though they're a puppet. So you'll have to take down China again, but they'll have like 0 divisions, so it'll be significantly easier. And you should be able to quickly defeat Japan after China's defeated the first time, which will mean that the puppet China won't really have much time or support from its overlord to fight back your invasion, meaning that you'll be able to take over Asia a lot quicker than you would otherwise. It is basically a divide and conquer type thing. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the war, and I'll get back to you whenever we start invading South America, and that will mainly just be to give a few pointers, since fighting in South America, once you kind of know how to defeat one country that has awful terrain, you kind of know how to defeat them all. And now, as I kind of mop up the last bits of the Asian prosperity sphere from, well, Asia, I'm going to explain how I decided to deal with South American countries that I decided to declare war on. And I mean, you're going to need to declare war on them for a world conquest anyways, because you're conquering the world. But maybe wait when you're not like fighting a faction that's on the other side of the world, because, or at least wait until you have like divisions in the area where you can quickly get there, because I had to go through Central America because, of course, I mean, they took over my stuff in Guyana, so go through Central America just to get a border. And I did decide to naval invade Peru, and I will say there's one plus side to declaring war on all these South American countries. While you're at war with the faction that they get access through port, is that a lot of their divisions, which sometimes they have a lot, like Peru will sometimes have like 40 or 50, a lot of their divisions will actually be sent over instead of at home, making it a lot easier to do stuff like naval invasions that you normally wouldn't be able to do. However, it's still a pain to invade them individually like this. But anyways, and what I mean is like invade them individually as in you accidentally let like 6 of them become great powers. Meaning that you have to defeat all of them for you to get a peace deal. So I naval invaded Peru, and I chose Lima as my port to focus on. And there's not really much to say. I mean, Peru is actually surprisingly easy, but the big problem is that it's just time consuming. And I mean, this isn't a speedrun strat. If you want that, you can probably... I don't know if there's many tutorials on it, but you can probably find somebody who's done it. Because they're like extremely fast ways to conquer the world. I think this is the way that I do it is just probably easier for beginners. But also, just something that I think was shown on screen just for a moment I was justifying a war goal on what was left of the Chinese United Front, because sometimes you'll have countries like we had with the Allies that they're just leftover countries from those factions that are left with like one state or something. And so I justified on Xinjiang, which is the leader of basically a dead Chinese United Front, just so that I would keep my Justify War Goal speed bonus after I'm finished with the Japanese faction, which would then allow me to, finish off the rest of Latin America. And since pretty much all of the strategy for taking down these Latin American countries is just, air support and having way more divisions than they do, I will again see you, I would say, when we're ready to start dealing with the Soviet Union. And while we are getting prepared to take down a lot of the minor countries that the Soviet Union will not be puppeting, because they will actually puppet a couple of ones in the Middle East and get some to join their faction. While I'm getting ready to take down those minor countries, I'm going to talk about the strategy for dealing with the Soviet Union, what's left of Scandinavia, and Iberia. And really, a lot of the strategy is just you have to build up the airports on the borders that you have with them. Build a lot of divisions. I think I had like 300 to 400, something like that, by the time I was ready to actually fight everybody in the Comintern. And the reason I mention I keep Nationalist Spain in there is because I usually just declare war on Nationalist Spain while I'm at war with another big faction, just because I don't know, they're easy to get out of the way that way, especially since like sometimes they'll send off the majority of their divisions to go defend their allies instead of defending their homelands, because AI is smart. And also on screen is my medium tank division. You can like go back 10 seconds or whatever to see that. And yeah. And also another thing I want to mention with fighting the Soviet Union is make sure to build up a collaborationist government. And actually, Paradox added a pretty nice thing where you can just hit repeat when you can, something like that, and it just allows you to build up a collaboration government in whatever operation you're doing with your spies until you can't anymore. Which means for collaboration government, builds it up until it's 100%. So just to make sure that you have that in mind, you should build up a collaboration government with the Soviet Union with your spies. And also, here is my division template for my medium tank division. Sorry for that noise, I was moving something around. But now, we are going to... I'll probably see you after I'm done with these South American countries and whatnot, when we talk specifically about defeating the Soviet Union. Just because there are a few things that you need to keep in mind whenever you're just rolling over them as fast as we're going to be. And let's get ready to fight the Soviet Union. So what I usually do is I have full airports completely built up across the Soviet border, and then I will make sure to have 1,000 improved fighter airframes, and then 1,000 close air support airframes in each airport. Obviously not filling every airport because that would take forever to get the planes for, but I usually get that many just to... I usually fill up around 2 airports per airspace, and I usually try to get superiority around a couple of specific airspaces. But since, we're still defeating Latin American countries, I don't want to overstimulate you guys, so I'll let this finish playing. And now we are definitely ready to fight the Soviet Union. And something that I've already done, but I will mention just in case you didn't see it, is I put two full armies, I believe, just one full army, but it was with an upgraded field marshal, so 7 full armies on the border of the Soviets, and set them to attack. And I put my air force in the Balkans, Kiev, Belarus, and over Leningrad. And I had air superiority with close air support, which allowed us to just roll through the Soviet Union, as they're not even close to being able to outproduce us in planes. And while I did that, I just started justifying war goals on countries, because it's just a late game and I needed to finish them off. And so I figured I would do that through defeating the Soviet Union and whoever else becomes a major country. And something I would like to mention, which is kind of the reason why I'm even narrating over this part, there will be small pockets that, for whatever reason, the frontline AI just misses, especially usually Crimea will, for some reason, it'll delete the front line around there, and then you have to manually usually set divisions there to take the island, just to make sure that you don't sit there and be like, why aren't they capitulating, and then realize that Sevastopol's been sitting there for 5 years or something. But yeah, pretty much at this point, a lot of it is just pushing through with your air force. And we have a pretty weird axis with Turkey voluntarily joining the Axis and then getting Iraq to go fascist and become their puppet. I don't know what was going on, but yeah. I will see you once we kind of defeat the quote-unquote Comintern, because it won't really be the Soviet Union Comintern after the Soviets fall. Alright, and what I want to talk about now, even though, what we'll be playing on screen will be me just finishing off Saudi Arabia and some other countries. What I want to talk about now is how we're going to deal with our faction members. Because I feel like if maybe you're, just now kind of getting to the point where you can do a world conquest as a player, dealing with your faction members that you've kind of just left to take over states and stuff might be a little difficult. And really the main thing I want to say is you don't have to cover everything. And you also don't have to fight them all at once. You can actually just kick them out one at a time and do it that way. But the main problem is usually Italy, because Italy will usually just take over like random provinces, and unless they're close to your capital, like maybe Lithuania is, you usually really won't have to cover them. So what I would do is just focus all of your air force, everything, on Italy once you're ready to take down Italy. Just because, I mean, once you take Italy, you don't even have to take most of Italy, because after the By Blood Alone update, usually a puppet government will pop out once you have taken enough victory points to destabilize Italy. And so, usually that puppet government will have a massive uprising and quickly take Italy out for you, sometimes even doing like naval invasions of Sicily, which you will actually see the AI do. Well, the AI won't do the naval invasion, but it will get the naval supremacy for me later, allowing me to naval invade Sicily, which is nice. And I feel that is pretty much all I've got to say about doing this world conquest. And as we kind of like take out our faction members one by one, I kind of want to say some, stuff regarding the channel and everything. It has been, I think, like 3 weeks since I uploaded a video, so sorry that it's taken this long to get this video out. College took just way more time than I thought it would, and I think that's just more because I moved to a 4-year recently, so there's just a lot more homework and everything. But summer's coming, and the only thing I'm really going to be doing over the summer is hopefully, part-time job, just for the summer, and so I won't have like homework with that, and so I should have a lot more time to just have a consistent video schedule, which I don't feel like I've had for like 5 months. And a consistent video schedule would be like, 4 videos a month, which would be like once weekly, pretty much. And I also kind of want to move into doing some more cinematic projects with like Crusader Kings 3 and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can mute this if you guys want. I won't be like offended because I won't know, but I don't want people to feel bad if they mute me or something. But if you find my voice annoying when there's not like a guide going on, it's fine. You can mute me. But I don't know. Just thanks for 2,000 subscribers. I never thought that I would get to the point of being able to even say that I have thousands of people watching me play a World War II strategy game. Feels weird. But I'll finish off my outro once the War with Italy is over and we actually finish the world conquest. And there we go. I thought my computer crashed for a second. That is the end of the world conquest. All we have to do is diplomatically annex German Italy, which we can do just by sending them a buttload of convoys. And yeah, let's do the outro stuff before I run out of time. So, if you're new to my channel and you saw this video and this helped you get a world conquest, and honestly I'd be surprised if you're new and you watched a full hour, but thank you if you did. And if you did, at this point, why not subscribe? Why not consider subscribing? Because I feel like if you watch a full hour, you probably like my content. And if you're returning and you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps the channel. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for such an insane amount of subscribers. I'll see you all in the next video, which will probably still be a pretty big video. It'll be a Crusader Kings 3 video, and really excited to start working on it. I'll see you all next time, and bye-bye.